argue with those facts?
I'm sorry, repeat the question. Would I argue with the fact that...
Would you argue with those facts? Would you argue with the facts that that hip-hop uses street culture in what it does, in the lyrics, in a number of the rap songs to make money? In other words, your street credibility is part of what makes the artist part and parcel rich, famous, all those other things.
Some of the artists, I mean, I can't necessarily say that we're all artists. I mean, I see exactly what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you, but what I'm saying is, if we rely on the music that we may hear on the radio or in more of the popular mediums, then I may feel like that's what I am supposed to rap about.
Right.
But what the point I'm trying to make is, there's so many other artists that are rapping them. What I'm trying to say is we shouldn't really equate the two with each other. And with I think what happened is when the corporations corrupted the culture, at that point, that's when it became like a one-dimensional thing where it's like, okay, the artist, in order to be a credible rapper, you got to go to jail or you have to sell drugs.
That's my point.
And what one point that I want to say real quick, because I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Well, I think you're a great guest. Go ahead.
Well, what I want to leave with the listeners is, a lot of times we talk about, the negativity, within rap music and with hip hop, and a lot of times I hear in a lot of conversations, a black male can rob a bank. And some mysterious way, hip-hop comes within the conversation. But what I want to say is there are a lot of young people that are doing some awesome things, some incredible things.
I get that.
How do we know hip-hop didn't influence them
to
do those great things? Because there are, the young children, 16 and younger, that are doing some amazing things.
That's an excellent point to end on.
And I'm sure they listen to rap music.
That's an excellent point to end on, Rod. Thank you for calling.
Excellent show.
Thank you, and keep listening. That's really, really great. Fat Red, I want you to respond to that.
Well, he's right, actually. There are a lot of artists that are making some really good music, and this has become the music itself, hip-hop or rap music. When it comes down to when it started, corporations really didn't know what we were doing. So a lot of this rap music was on boutique labels, and it was coming straight from the source. The only problem was we weren't doing numbers, but the music for the culture was great. You had all the diversity, you had everybody saying what they wanted to say, and you had the West Coast rappers doing their thing. You had, facing them in the South, and even at that time, in the same space, you had NWA doing, some real hardcore gangster rap. In the same time period, you had Luke and Two Live Crew just dancing it up, and you didn't think a thing about it. You know what I'm saying? You go straight from Straight Outta Compton or Explicative the Police, straight to a Two Live Crew record. So, and nobody thought a thing of it. And then straight to a Rakim record. It didn't matter. But now, with the corporations getting in and really blowing this thing up, which was a good thing for hip hop. One of the things we sacrificed is now when they got their finger in the Kool-Aid, they want things to be a certain way. And frankly, the guy who sits behind the desk at any one of the major distribution companies really doesn't care what we rap about.
Yeah. Certainly. I want to go to our phone lines now. Dr. Percy Mack has been generous with his time today and is joining us. And Dr. Mack, as you hear these gentlemen talk, I know you know that they're doing wonderful things in our community. At the same time, you have a word as far as responsibility is concerned. Have we lost Dr. Mack? Oh, my goodness. We need to get him back on the phone if we possibly can. We certainly do hate that we lost Dr. Percy Mack. We are going to continue the conversation now. Before we go back to our phone lines, I really would like to get Dr. Mack's response before we lose him for the day as well. But Preach, you were, as Fat Rat was commenting on Rod's comment, I wanted as well yours.
I think Fat Rat is right. I think the caller is right. I think that I think there's so much diversity with hip-hop culture that to just say that it's one thing is really frustrating. And here's a statistic that I think is really, really interesting, is that hip-hop culture is becoming more like sports culture, where you have the NBA, where the majority of the people are African-American, but you can count the coaches on one hand. And there's probably, Michael Jordan is the only NBA owner that's out there? You know, hip-hop culture is the same way, where the majority of the people that are making the music that you see out there are us, but 80 to 85% is purchased by white America, you know, and we're a small percentage of the people that's purchasing that. So I'm saying, who's buying these records?
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to see us be violent? Who wants to see us be this and be that if these records are selling? And I think the great thing that's going on now with the digital revolution, like Fat Rat was saying about boutique labels, my record label, Sounds Familiar Records, is kind of the counterattack on major labels, where we're not focusing on trying to appeal to a mass audience, where you might have to water your music down, where you might have to compromise your integrity, and focus more on the type of things we want to talk about, you know. Talk about, you know, songs about love. Talk about, you know, trying to raise a family or having trouble paying your bills, which I think a lot of people can relate to. And I believe there's going to be a movement very soon with the digital revolution where the power is going to be given back to the common person. And I think that this model that we're looking at now is going to fall apart and crumble, because major labels are going to fall apart and crumble. And the opportunities are going to be for people like us, the independent artists that's trying to put these events together, these independent artists that's making their music. And that's where you're going to see the diversity when the power is given back to us. Right now, everything seems crazy because we have no control over it. But I think it's going to shift in a major way.
We want to go back to the phone lines now. We do have Dr. Percy Mack on the phone. And Dr. Mack, before we let you go, we wanted to wrap up with you because we're having this interesting dialogue about the impact of street culture on the African-American experience. And because you deal with so many children under your umbrella of Richland School District 1 on a daily basis, I know you have a word for our artists in terms of their responsibility to community.
Well, I think it's very important that our artists, and I think as I've listened here, understand the importance of everyone's responsibility. Our kids are important, and we cannot allow them to be caught up in the kinds of things that's going to cause them problems. It's the same thing with the violent video games that kids watch. These things make an impression on young people, and we have to be the gatekeepers for our young people in this community and in society. Because, as I said earlier, they are young, impressionable, and many of them don't know any better as they listen to this and as they get ingrained in them. As some of the artists said, we need to be focusing our young people on really doing great things in school, being respectful to their adults and to others, and not attacking each other, as sometimes comes out in the music. Because we're not going to survive if we don't get a grip and get a hold on our young people to help them understand which direction they need to go in.
Dr. Percy Mack, the superintendent of Richland School District 1, one of the largest districts in the state of South Carolina, and a friend of this show. Dr. Percy Mack, thank you for joining us today, and I hope you'll continue to listen to the show.
Always do.
Thank you, Dr. Mack. Dr. Mack's contributions to the show are significant. I want to say to you guys that there's a tremendous amount of pressure on you because of the breakdown in our communities, because so many men are not there in the homes with the women, and so many women are really needing assistance in helping to raise their boys. And so as a byproduct of that void in our community, where the family would normally add balance to a young person, sometimes that isn't there. 48 Roy, do you agree with that statement?
Yes, I do. I agree with that with you, you know. But I feel like being that we young African males, we have to just get with the kids and be more open and talk about real issues. I think that's one thing that is missing. I think, like, when a kid turns 10 or 11, we need to have open discussions about why he growing up in low income and why he see the dude driving the Chevy on 26s and the outcome of taking the risk is to get all the material things. I feel like that the parents will have more open conversations and actually guide them to let them know that what's the outcome and consequences, then we will have a good movement going with the kids. When the kid get a certain age and we trying to have open conversations with them, and from 11 through 15, he been already having within his inner self, I want to get out here, I want to do this, I want to do that, or he out at the school hanging with his friends and they're sneaking doing things, then of course once he get a certain age, he gonna do what he want to do, no matter what. But if you can have open conversations with them while they're young, I feel like you'll have a more relationship with your child.
Ben, you feel the same way?
No, well, I mean, yeah, I'm behind him 100%. The only thing I just need to add to what 48 saying is, but me personally, I would say more vendors need to like step up to the plate and contribute to them. You know what I'm saying? Because me personally, you know, with my label and company and stuff like that, we've been providing like school supplies and events for the Colombian parks and recreations for years. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people might not know that because, you know, I got a lot of people that's against me and don't want that to surface. You know what I'm saying? But it's surfacing now. You know what I'm saying? I got a plaque from Columbia Parks and Recreation for how much we contributed to every park in Columbia. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Martin Luther King to Hyatt Park.
Y'all got beefing going on in Columbia, too?
No, I mean, that's politics. That's another thing, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? But that's what we don't, this money that coming out of my own pocket, you know what I'm saying, that I'm not even getting taxes back on, you know what I'm saying? This how much I care about the community. I see a lot of the kids grow up, you know what I'm saying, Ridgewood, you know what I'm saying, over there in Lord Park, you know what I'm saying, down there, you know what I'm saying, in Hyatt, and, you know what I'm saying, and you know, and all this around there. We done been all of them, Greenview. You know what I'm saying? We started off in Greenview.
Well, the reason you did it is you must have seen a void that needed to be filled. You recognized that the kids needed the school supplies. So when I say that you guys have a lot of pressure on you because of what's happening in terms of our families sometimes are not doing what we need to do. And on the eve of the celebration of the MLK holiday, I think this is as good a time as any to talk about the upcoming things that we really, really need to be focusing on, particularly with our young people, because a lot of times when the civil rights stuff happens, the young people think that we're not talking to them. And I think that what we have to do is to bridge it, to make what they like and what's relevant in their lives significant to the other things that we're doing. And so much about the MLK holiday has to do with our future, and, of course, our kids are that. You know, Hillary Shelton is joining us by phone, and Mr. Shelton is the bureau chief for the Washington Bureau of the NAACP. And as a national figure, I asked Mr. Shelton if he would join us today. And I happened to have the opportunity to meet Hillary Shelton this weekend at a conference in Myrtle Beach that Dr. Lonnie Randolph was kind enough to get him to come from Washington, D.C. To see us. And I was so impressed by his realistic view on what's happening with the African-American experience that I decided to ask him to join us today. Welcome, Mr. Shelton, to Onpoint with Cynthia Hardy. Thank you for being here today.
It's so great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
I've got some great artists here. I've got Ben FREEZY here with me, who has an upcoming event that is a very positive event for people in the hip-hop industry in our area. I have Preach Jacobs, who's here, who is an independent artist who has local, statewide, national, and international focus there. Fat Rat the CZAR is here as well, who makes really great music in our area and is known throughout the state of South Carolina and throughout our region. 48 Roy is a young man who is kind enough to open himself up, whose idea it was to have this show today because he has not been satisfied with what he has seen going on in his community. So I just wanted to give you an idea about the other panelists that are here, and I'm happy that you're able to join us as well. The question that we asked today is the impact of street culture on the African-American experience. While we recognize that there's so much about hip-hop that is positive, I'm concerned that sometimes it breeds attitudes of disrespect for authority or promiscuity in women or an opportunity for people to get street credit by doing crime and violence that normally they wouldn't do without the suggestion. And you say what?
I'll say like any other musical art form, hip-hop is an outlet of what's inside of the young people that actually perform it. They're speaking from their experiences. But as you know, there's in every genre of music I'm aware of, there's great positive, uplifting music, and there is denigrating music. There's music that doesn't lift the spirit from our perspective, that sings a song for a different reason. I think the key is to make sure that we have a good balance. I mean, everything in life is not rosy and uplifting, but what we see too often is the big money, the big production has a tendency from time to time to go behind more of the more violent hip-hop music. For some reason, they find that more compelling. And no different than a lot of the things we watch in movies and other places as well. If for some reason, in newspapers and magazines, on the TV screen and on the big movie screen, the belief is if it bleeds, it leads. And I think our music ends up being that way as well.
Certainly.
I've heard rock music that will sing great songs of love and accomplishment, and I've heard rock music that is equally, if not more, denigrating towards women, more violent, and even racist.
Right, right. Hold on to that point. We're going to go to Bobby on the phone, and we appreciate Bobby giving us a call and Bobby listening as well. Thank you, Bobby, for calling us today. What's on your mind?
Yes, I'm calling about the nature of the hip-hop movement, and I've seen some really, really positive attributes come out of the hip-hop movement over the last 20 to 30 years. We've seen kind of a renaissance in the area of creativity. We're seeing more and more African-American graphic designers, more and more African-American photographers and stylists, all of those areas that support the industry, but branching out into the larger realm of commercial advertising. You're seeing hip-hop's influence on major television commercials. You're seeing the influence of hip-hop making entrepreneurial folks like Jay-Z and P. Diddy, and others, grow in terms of their entrepreneurial pursuits. And diversity, after achieving that success in the ownership of sports teams and the ownership of mainstream products and things of that nature. So I think that the contribution of hip-hop has been great for America because it has given America an opportunity to see inside of our culture and how our culture drives trends and how our culture drives the money wagon.
Certainly.
Also, on the other hand, we've seen hip-hop be detrimental, just like Rush Limbaugh is detrimental. You got lunatics that listen to Rush and go out and take up arms. We are particularly vulnerable in our undereducated populations, and they need to be educated, and they need to know the difference between right and wrong and real versus fake. What is real? What is reality? They don't realize that a lot of these guys are renting the rims that they're riding on in the videos. They don't realize that a lot of it is commercial promotion for business reasons.
Those are sophisticated concepts, though, Bobby, for kids to grab onto.
Yeah, but they need to be educated. They need to read up on those artists, their favorite artists. I love a lot of the intellectual hip hop that's out there today, and we've got state legislators and senators that still listen to the same hip hop.
Certainly, we got to go to break though, Bobby. Got to go to break. You're listening to Onpoint with Cynthia Hardy, sponsored in part by Absolute Total Care. If you have an opportunity to choose Absolute Total Care. We got Sheen One Holding, we got Greta Holding, we got Hilton Shelton out of DC Holding, and we want you to stay with us too. Don't go away. Hi, it's Cynthia Hardy, and I'm here to tell you about an important spoken word event that I think we all, our children included, should attend. It's the 3rd Annual Milliken Festival, February 18th and 19th, featuring Nikki Finney, Kalama Yasalam, and Marjorie Wentworth. Rick Jones, you put this thing together. How can people reach you?
Well, Cynthia, you can reach us by email at ajbmfoundation@live.com or through our website, artheniambates.com. That's ARTHENIA.com. And you can also contact me directly at 704-576-2910.
And I know you're still taking donations, so we want our folks to know if they'd like to contribute to this effort, they can also do that by reaching you.
That's correct, Cynthia.
Hi, this is Nikki Finney. I can't wait to see everybody in Sumter and Columbia on February 18th and 19th.
Education is very important to the South Carolina Education Lottery, and so are our players. When our games become something other than fun, it's time to stop and reach out for help. If you or someone you know or love needs help, please call the South Carolina Gambling Helpline. Educating players is very important to us. So have fun, play smart, but always play responsibly.
For more information, call 1-877-452-5155.
So you've cut out the lattes and brown bag your lunch to work. But if it still feels like payday's getting here late, call a State Farm agent and ask for a free discount double check. It's a line-by-line review of your car insurance policy, so you'll get the discounts you deserve. Like 10% for being a good driver, another 10% if your teenage driver's a good student, and 17% for combining your car and home policies. Save hundreds of dollars a year. Call your local State Farm agent. Being there to help keep more of your money in your pocket is why State Farm agents are here. Discounts may vary.
Hey, girl, what you doing?
I'm in a rut with my job, so I'm thinking career change. Maybe go back to school. I'm looking up information on college classes, but it's hard to decide what to study.
Well, check out Benedict College's program in Public Safety Administration.
What's that?
Well, since 9/11, Public Safety Administration is one of the fastest growing professions. And Benedict College's continuing education program is for people interested or currently working in fire and rescue services, EMS, law enforcement, corrections, homeland security, the armed forces.
Sounds great, but with kids, my hectic work schedule?
But nothing. Benedict's continuing education program lets you take classes in the evening or on the weekends. Look, you've taken care of everyone else, so get back to school and finish what you started.
For more information on Benedict College School of Continuing Education's Public Safety Administration and Management Program, call 705-4779 or visit Benedict College online at benedict.edu.
Choosing a Medicaid plan can be hard. You may ask yourself, who will give me the best benefits? And who will take care of my family and me when I need it most? Absolute Total Care will. We go above and beyond to bring you the benefits you need, like vision and dental for the whole family, including adults. Adults receive a $125 allowance toward prescription glasses or contacts and routine dental visits as part of your plan. We even have programs for new and expecting moms and a rewards program that is available to Absolute Total Care members only. So what are you waiting for? Upgrade now to Absolute Total Care and get more from your health plan. Enroll in Absolute Total Care by calling 1-877-552-4642. For more information, visit AbsoluteTotalCare.com. That's 1-877-552-4642 to enroll in Absolute Total Care today.
Absolute Total Care. Yeah, from the heart.
We ain't got but 10 more minutes, so it's wraps up quick. Welcome back to Onpoint with Cynthia. We're having a great time in our studio today. That's because we got 48 Roy, we got Ben FREEZY in here, we got Preach Jacobs, and we got Fat Rat CZAR. We got you guys listening, so thank you. We're going to go quickly to Sheem One on the phone. Sheem, I had to come to you, man. Our phones are blowing up, and you've been holding for a while. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Sheem is an artist in our area, and we've worked together many, many times. Extremely talented brother. You say what, Sheem?
I say this. I agree with 48 Yachty and your last caller, Bobby. I think we're at war when it comes to media-wise. We'll be showing our kids at young ages. It's going to be hard to take them out of that frame of mind for what they think hip-hop is. Hip-hop is such a broad spectrum, and they don't really get out there and show every artist that is out there, broaden their horizon, so to speak.
Great point. You guys, I asked you in the break, why isn't education and respect for authority sexy? Because you all were telling me about all these educated rappers, and I'm saying, yeah, but ain't nobody on no rap songs talking about I got a PhD, and everybody's running out to buy it because they're so educated. So I'm going to start down there with you, Fat Rat.
That money's sexy, though. So when you get your college degree and you go get you a good job, you know.
I got you.
Buy you a nice car with a big crib. There you go.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? There's other ways to get to the money, you know. Rappers really don't make a whole lot of money unless they're selling a whole bunch of records to get out of that debt anyway. So, you know, education is always a good route. And, you know, interviews like this where artists had the opportunity to say something and really get with the people without a beat is a great time for the fans and the listeners to understand that, you know, these are well-calculated brothers who took some time to use their musical talent and try to, you know, make a career out of it. That's all. You know, that's all to it.
Right. You know what, 48? You know, as I'm listening to Fat Rat talk about the fact that it is a business and it is an industry, and those that are really, really good know that and make a lot of money. And I asked the question, well, why aren't we talking about education? Because so many of our kids just need to know how important education is and how important you view it. You were honest enough to reveal your whole life story to us, basically, and tell us that you made some mistakes.
Yeah.
And you want people to learn from that. Do people hear you?
Yeah, the kids in my community, they hear me and they listen. So, you know, it's more about being a role model, doing something more positive to bring them to follow me. You know, because right now, corporate America, they're busy trying to sell the negative, the positive story to the world. You mean, like, even if you look at Oprah, like, everybody she have on her couch, she has somebody who had a bad past that made it successful. So I feel like right now, even if you coming from a negative to a positive, you still have to be a role model and, you know, let the kids know, like, it's cool to go to college. You know what I'm saying? You can go to college for free. Just fill out a grant. You know what I'm saying? Fill out the FAFSA form. You can go to college. You can go to Tech. You know, if you can't go to USC, you can go to Tech. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know, that's building your future.
You know, as you and you agree with him, don't you, Preach?
I mean, yeah. I think as far as authority, what you was talking about, why isn't authority sexy? I mean, if you look at hip-hop culture, just young black folk, even before hip-hop came out, we just really didn't have, it's not necessarily not a respect for a culture, for authority. It's that they didn't respect us. So if you look at the civil rights movement and the Panthers, even when Martin Luther King is being nonviolent, we got sprayed with water hoses. You know? So I think there's a shift politically now where we have a president that got Jay-Z in his iPod.
Right.
So when our authoritative figures are people like that relate to us, I think everything else is going to work out just as well.
Sure, Ben.
Just got to apologize to everybody that's listening right now. I got to keep it 100. I wouldn't be being frank if I didn't. You know what I'm saying? Even on my Facebook, I got it called Keep It 100. But it's different way. You know, when it comes to the education, you know, that, like, if you personally knew and 100 other people knew how to make it in this world successfully, you would kind of keep it in a closed area, you know what I'm saying, a closed cap. So they would throw people in another area. Yeah, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. But in actuality, it's, you know, who you know what I'm saying. It's a lot of people that's successful in this world that, you know what I'm saying, came from different avenues. You got people that made it through the military, that had self-discipline, you know what I'm saying, that made it in the, you know what I'm saying, that just was lucky enough to know somebody to get out. Then you got some people that was in college, you know what I'm saying, that some people that finished college, some people that went halfway in college, but bumped into somebody that they knew, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just giving it all the way 100. You know, it's the avenue.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
We're going to say goodbye to Shelton, to Hillary Shelton, who's on the phone, but I do want to get a closing comment from you. Now, here in Columbia, we've got King Day at the Dome on tomorrow for MLK Day, Mr. Shelton. But I would like for you to give a closing word, if you would, to our audience about responsibility and how to weigh it all out.
No, absolutely. And listen, certainly in the context of the conversation over hip-hop, there's a long tradition that we have to remember. An important part of our history is the connection between our music of our communities and the civil rights movement.
Sure.
If we go back and we look at who supported Dr. King, we know Harry Belafonte did concerts to make sure the civil rights movement continued. He's a longtime civil rights icon, along with people like Roberta Flack, Marvin Gaye, and many others were actively involved. When we look at this kind of music and the kind of opportunity we have to fulfill these obligations, for instance, I learned all the countries in Southern Africa because of a hip-hop group called Stetsasonic. The song was called Africa. We were able to show that video to 5-year-old kids, and because of the beat and because of how it teaches, they were able to learn every country in Africa, a little bit about what's going on with it, who the president of those countries are, and beyond, without even realizing it, just singing along with the lyrics. It's an awesome amount of power, and it can really bring them to a very positive realm and show and help move our community forward.
Thank you.
So it's a great opportunity.
Thank you very much, Hillary Shelton, and thank you for joining us from Washington, D.C., and I'm sure we'll have you back. You guys were out of town. Hustle Boy, you got an event. When's your event?
It's January the 20th at Club Raw in Columbia, you know what I'm saying. Shout out to Mike Jones and Hustle Boy INC, you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Preach, you got something you want us to do?
Mo Better Soul is my event. You can check on mobettersoul.com and donate to the cause. We're putting together a tour for 2011 to travel this country and go international. We did London and Japan last year. Hopefully we can do South Africa this year. Please support MOBETTA.com. Mo Better Soul.
And your event is January 20th, right, Ben? January 20th. And they can catch you on Facebook as well to get all the information about your event.
Yeah,
48. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it, Ben.
Oh, no, that's just Hustle Boy, Ben Freezy.
Okay. All right, 48, you got to say goodbye, you and Fat Rat, and I didn't get a chance to get much from you guys at the end, but thank you so much for being here today.
All right, I want to just say shout out and thank all the support.